ABC has it going. Right, okay, this is what I'm listening to in the background. This is Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, White Lines, nice UK 12, picked up yesterday for £1. Very cool. Right, okay. Right, I was going to make a video just purely showing jazz records. I bought quite a few nice items over the last month or so. A local store has had a large jazz collection in. Everything absolutely pristine, mint condition. Just an example, this is one of the bits that I picked up. This is Sonny Rollins' Way Out West. Now this is a long time want list item for me. Not a first press, I think it's a second pressing, so originally came out 57, I think this is from the following year. As you can see, when you just look at that laminated sleeve, it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, so lovely stuff. It's on the Contemporary label. Yeah, so this is a trio record. Obviously Sonny Rollins, Ray Brown on bass, Shelly Manne on drums. But it's all about Sonny Rollins playing. I've said before how much I love him as a musician. I think he's the most soulful of jazz musicians. I think his playing is absolutely gorgeous. I've said before that I basically got into jazz via soul music, really. So I think that's why I lean more towards him than a lot of the other sax players. But yeah, lovely item. Really pleased to get a copy of that. From the same collection, this is Annette Peacock. This is just a cheapie. This is the Perfect Release, 1979. I think this is on Motors Records. Yeah, I hadn't heard this before. I mean, the other bits and bobs that I picked up, I've played it pretty safe actually. I've mainly gone with stuff that I already knew but just didn't own. So, but this is something I hadn't heard previously. Yeah, so this is, recorded in 1979. You can tell it's been made with session players because the playing is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a massive depth to Steely Dan. It's got that real sort of sheen, that very shiny production, but it really works. Her vocal delivery really reminded me of Rita Lee Jones, that almost spoken word type thing, almost riffing over the top of over the music. But I say it really works well. So a record that I've gone back to several times since first spinning it a few weeks ago. So very cool. Right. Okay, you know, sometimes certain records really take off in the VC. Now, this is one that I was sure that was going to happen with. This is Alton Gunn. The album's called On. It came out last year. Now, this seemed to, well, it felt like it ticked all the VC boxes to me, you know. So it's a band from Amsterdam, but the music is described as Turkish Psych. There's lots of big beats on it, lots of drum breaks. Catchy tunes and lots of fuzz tone guitar. It really does work. It's a really nice album. Their second album has just come out. I haven't heard it yet, but I know some of the reviews have given a bit of a mixed review on the basis that they're saying that there might be a bit of a one-trick pony, just doing the same thing again and again. But as far as I'm concerned, it's quite an impressive trick. So I'll do a needle drop on it. I think it's really nice. So yeah, cool. Right, just a few 45s talking of needle drops. A couple of things I picked up from charity shop yesterday. Too Nice to Talk To by The Beat. Nice picture cover, Promises by the Buzzcocks. Those are just a few pence. But I'm going to do some needle drops on some Reggae 45s. This is Max Romeo The Raid on Palmer Supreme, 1971. I bought some Reggae 45s probably about 6-7 months ago, and I'm only just getting through to cleaning them up and seeing which ones I'm keeping. But yeah, definitely one I'll be keeping hold of. As with Gypsy Woman by Slim Smith and the Uniques. Now this is a version of the Impressions tune written by Curtis Mayfield. Beautiful version. This is a reissue, I think, from about 15 years ago, but originals go for a good couple of £100. But so pleased to get a copy of that. And Riverboat by Big Youth on his Nagus and Nagas label. Yeah, that's a cover of a Creedence tune. You know, I'll give you a guess at which one it is, but yeah, check it out on the needle drops at the end, see what you think. Right, okay. And one other, this is not something that I normally show, but this is a record by Michael Holiday, who's obviously a bit of a crooner in the late 50s, early 60s. This is a song from 1963. I think it actually came out shortly after his death. This is a song called Drums. As I say, not necessarily what I'd normally show and what I normally listen to, but yeah, somebody played this to me probably about 5 years ago now, and it's really stuck in my head. So I found that at a charity shop recently, so I'll do a little drop on that as well. So cool. Right, okay. Now this is something that I picked up part of the Black Friday record store day, the end of last year. This is obviously the Wailers with Catch a Fire. This is a reissue of the classic Zippo lighter sleeve. I've always wanted an original, never been able to get hold of one, far too expensive for me, so I was quite pleased to get hold of this reissue. Very nice. The only thing I would say is that the pressing itself is a bit disappointing. It's on clear vinyl. Really what you wanted was a nice heavy duty black vinyl version of it, but yeah, it's nice enough, but still, I still basically need the original, so yeah, cool. Right, okay. Something that I picked up last week, this is Young Disciples with Road to Freedom. 1991. This is on acid jazz. I like that whole acid jazz music movement from that period. Carleen Anderson on vocals. You may know her mom was Vicky Anderson, who sang with James Brown. A stepdad, Bobby Bird, who was obviously with James Brown and Famous Flames. So I think James Brown was actually a godfather, I think so. But yeah, on this album, through that link, you've got Maceo Parker playing on here, Fred Wesley. Yeah, great record. The big tune on this was Apparently Nothing. Still sounds great today. Actually, yeah, it's working on this album with Brendan Lynch, who is one of my favourite producers. He produced the first 4 or 5 solo Paul Weller albums. He also did that trio, that trilogy of albums for Primal Scream, Vanishing Point, Exterminator and Evil Heat. 3 of my favourite records from that sort of period. So yeah, so I think this is the first record that he worked on. But yeah, really been enjoying a lot of the old school acid jazz over the last couple of months. I got into it a bit late. I say it was all sort of early 90s, but I got into it in probably around about 95, 96, so perhaps a little bit after the horse had bolted, really. But yeah, great stuff, and nice to find an original copy of that, so cool. Right, talking about acid jazz, this is Diane Brown and the Master Plan. This is a 12, picked up for £1 last week. I've been listening to a lot of the old school acid jazz stuff over the last few months. Yeah, this is from 1992. Yeah, this record, I actually bought this about 15 years ago. I paid for it on eBay and it never arrived, so it's one of those things that stuck in my head ever since. You know, it's a track that I've always been after but never see, so a nice cheapie, but yeah, really nice stuff, so cool. Found this in the week. Aladdin Sane doesn't really need much of an introduction. This is obviously Bowie's album. This is the follow-up to Ziggy Stardust. The reason I picked it up, I already had it, but I had one of the RCA International versions, which was the single sleeve. So this is it's not a first press, but it's certainly an early press, and it's got the cool gatefold, so very nice. And just finally, just want to mention this. I saw this band play last Monday night in Birmingham. They're called the Midnight Hour. It's a new project from Ali Shaheed Mohammed from A Tribe Called Quest and Adrian Young. And I saw this gig, so this is the album, so I saw them play, and it is basically like watching a 90-minute film score. You know, that's what it felt. Everything just flowed into, every song flowed into the next. Bits of jazz, bits of hip hop, bits of soul. I think it was a 10-piece band, and at the end of it my jaw was on the floor. It was absolutely perfect, so I picked up the album at the gig. I think this came out last October, but I missed it for some reason. But yeah, I'll definitely recommend that if you get a chance to hear that, so cool.
Walked in, I lied down like I was drunk. Yeah, when the fuzz walked in, I lied down like I was drunk. Then the cop stepped past and said, "Their lies are drunk." Some were was sipping lager, some was having fun, some was hugging and kissing, then they all began to run. They raided the club and they took all the guys but me. Cause I was in a corner, sipping a cup of tea. Ah, yeah.
Reaches to touch above, and all exists by devolution or catastrophe. Personally, what in me unknown seeks to be and struggle naturally strengthens me. The meeting between the conscious identity and it remains to be seen. Destiny.
Growing on a river. Growing on a river. Mary got a job in the city. She was working on the fire every day and night. So she worked so hard just to make things right. So the big wheels keep on turning. Mary born fire keeps on burning. Growing on a river. Growing on a river.
Is that my heart or is it drums? I'd swear that I was hearing drums. Have I gone crazy? Is your love so consuming? My head is throbbing, my heart is booming, and all